First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem, Rokakwadash. Yahweh is who this world ignorantly calls God. Yahweh Shai is who this world ignorantly calls Jesus. Ba'Hashem means in the name, Rokah means spirit, and Qudash means holy. And that's all in the Paleo Hebrew. I also want to give double honors to the elder bishops and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth. In today's video, I wanted to go into how Satan is attacking your mind. Okay, and let's get straight into it. 1 Peter 5 and 8, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. Right, so Satan and these demons are non-stop, seeing who could they sift, who can they make stop believing, you know, who could they just, make fall into sin, do some wickedness. And that's the things about these spirits is that they don't sleep. This is 24/7, and I've had so many accounts, man, where I go to sleep and it's the same dream, some straight wickedness, you know, straight wickedness in the dream. And I know it's those demons attacking me because it's always in a period where I'm really locked into the spirit. It's those demons trying to sow doubt in my mind. So, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour, whom resist steadfast in the faith, knowing that the same afflictions are accomplished in your brethren that are in the world. Right, and that's what I want to go into today, is that, one of the biggest trials is a Satan attacking your mind. Right, we all go through that. Okay, just like in those movies where, you had a red demon on the left shoulder and an angel on the right shoulder. And the demon was whispering things in the man's ear and the angel whispering things in the other ear. That's exactly how it is. Here it is. You could tell when it's the Holy Spirit talking. You go, you see some wickedness and the Spirit's telling you, nah, don't go over there. Don't do that. Do this. Don't do that. That's wicked. That's the Spirit. But when you got those voices in your head, just, just throwing straight wickedness in your mind, and you observe those thoughts, you're like, where the hell did this come from? You know, this is not me. You know, but that's Satan right there, because what he's trying to do is he's trying to plant that seed, right? The same way that a Yahweh Shai referred to the word as a seed, right? It's the same thing Satan's trying to do. He's trying to throw a seed of wickedness in your mind, and if you water that seed, you think about that thought for too long, guess what's gonna happen? Eventually, you're gonna enact upon that thought and commit that wickedness. So that's why it says resist the temptation, and Satan shall leave. When you resist Satan, hey, he leaves you alone. Hey, those thoughts disappear when you just ignore them. So let's go into Ephesians 6 or Jeremiah 17 and 9. It says, the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? Now, when you go into that word heart in the Hebrew, it goes into the Hebrew word lab, which means the inner man mind. Right? It's talking about your mind, not your heart, because your heart can't think. Right? So your mind is deceitful above all things. See what that word deceitful means. Sly, insidious, right? Slippery, fraudulent, crooked, polluted. Right? Your mind is polluted above all things. Okay, so, and desperately wicked. Who can know it, right? Hey, who can control those those evil thoughts? Can control their mind 24/7. The answer is nobody. So, you gotta know when it's Satan and when it's the Spirit, and that's a battle in itself. But you gotta know when it's Satan and when it's the Spirit, and when to engage the thoughts and when to disengage. Just as Yahweh Shai said, you know, um, what's the word? Wise as a serpent, and harmless as doves. The reason a serpent is wise is because it knows when to strike and it knows when to coil up. So, this is Ephesians 6 and 16. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. Right? And that's the thing, is how do we overcome these fiery darts? Those evil thoughts. Well, you got to put on the shield of faith. You got to pray. You got to fast. You got to have faith. You got to have the fear of the Lord. All these things combined, read the word, hear the word. All these things combined, that's the shield. And that's how you overcome those attacks. Because I could tell you myself, this walk is a level up. Okay, the demons that attack you right now are not the same demons that attack you when you first heard the word, when you first heard the gospel. Right? As you grow in the spirit, they level up. They get even stronger. Because, that's the thing of this walk. This walk is a matter of leveling up. Okay, and it's never going to stop until Yahushua comes back. That's why he said, to whom much is given, much is required. You want that spiritual growth, that spiritual level, guess what? You're going to have to fight these demons like hell. And that's the requirement that is needed. So, how do you fight those fiery darts? You quench those fiery darts, taking up the shield of faith. And it's a constant battle. 24/7, you got to battle these demons. Let's read this in Proverbs 3 and 5. Trust in Yahweh with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. And that's the same point, is your own understanding. Here it is, you might think you're doing something right, but it's really just Satan influencing you. It's some wickedness. So, in everything, we just got to trust the Lord and ask the Lord first when it comes to a situation. Right? If you feel like, you got that, 100% on a situation or what to do, pray. Pray to Yahweh Shem Yahushua to give you the right answer, the right path, and that, your decision be from him and not from Satan. Because it's very easy, to do the wrong thing. So, especially in this world. But, just want to make a quick video on that. Satan is attacking your mind. And remember that all your thoughts are not your thoughts. Hopefully this is edifying. With that, I give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh B'Hashem, Yahushua B'Hashem, Rokah Kodash, and double honors to the elder bishops and apostles of great mills that taught me this truth. Shalom to you, like Shalom.